Welcome to the IHC Craft Room. I'm Mary. In today's video, I'm excited to show you how I made this grapevine wreath for Easter. I'll show you all the steps and all the materials. So grab all your stuff and let's get crafty. This is Mary. Welcome to the IHC Craft Room. For materials, we'll begin with an 18-inch grapevine wreath base that I picked up at Michael's, a 9 by 6.5 wood cross from the Dollar Tree, 2.5-inch wired ribbon in beige that I got at Costco, yellow and white Easter lilies, some pipe cleaners in light brown and dark brown, and Varathane wood stain in dark walnut. For tools, we'll begin with parchment paper, paper towels, George the glue gun, a piece of old t-shirt, a pair of scissors, some small pliers or tools to help clear the leaves from the grapevine wreath, a foam brush, an emery board and sanding block, and a pair of rubber gloves. All right, let's kick things off by sanding down this cross and getting it ready for staining. Whenever I work with a wooden piece like this, I always take the time to sand and smooth the surface first. I mean, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, I guess, but I tend to be a bit accident prone and I will legit lose it if I get a splinter, so we sand to avoid meltdowns up here in Canada. With that done, I gave the cross a quick wipe down with my wet rag and then let it dry for a few minutes before using my foam brush to add a layer of stain to the wood. I only did one coat of stain because I was very happy with the color and didn't want to darken it up any further. But feel free to do more if you want to. For the last step, I used a bit of an old cotton t-shirt to wipe away the excess stain before finishing up the base. Using a cotton t-shirt will help avoid getting fluffs and bits of crap stuck to the stain's finish. Now let's set the cross aside to dry while we move on to working on the grapevine base. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to see grapevine wreaths around and I would think, girlfriend, now there's a quick base wreath you can build on in no time. I figured it would save me the time of making the base myself. Which in theory it would, except the thing is, when you buy a grapevine wreath, they come, well, wild. Like wild. They are, they're covered in leaves and twigs, sticking out in every direction, and it really just looks like super hungover, you know what I mean? So I spent a lot of time cleaning out the dried leaves and trimming off stray twigs. I'm going to estimate that it took me about a half an hour to clean up this base. So keep that in mind when you pick up a grapevine wreath. You're still going to have to clean up the base and it will take you a bit of time to do that. I'll spare you from watching me finish the base. Let's go ahead and move on to making our super simple but stunning bow. Let's go. All right, now it's time for us to make the easiest bow on earth. And all we're going to need is our ribbon, a pair of scissors, and a pipe cleaner. That's it. Now let's get started measuring and cutting our ribbon, shall we? For this bow, we're going to need 8 pieces of ribbon cut to around 24 inches in length. Easy, right? Okay, so we're going to cut out those 8 pieces, and then since I love my nice dovetail finish, I'm going to go ahead and dovetail my ribbon. You of course can skip this or maybe cut them at an angle or leave them ragged. I bet that would look cool too, actually. Now let's fold each piece of ribbon in half and then we'll scoot down about 4 or 5 inches or so and gather the ribbon. Then I'm going to tuck it in between my fingers to hold onto it in the right spot. And I'll do the same thing with each piece of ribbon until all 8 are folded in the right spot, and then I'm going to gather them all together using my pipe cleaner to bundle them up. Then I'll give the pipe cleaners a few good twists to secure the ribbon, and now it's time to spread out the ribbon tails and fluff out those loops. I really wanted my loops to be on the smaller side with really long tails, but you can totally balance the bow out more with big loops and smaller tails if that's what blows your hair back. But regardless, just like that, our bundle bow is ready. I told you it was easy, right? We have one more step before it's time to put everything together. We need to be able to secure the cross to our grapevine base, so that means we'll have to enlist my friend George to glue some pipe cleaners to the bottom of this cross. I'm going to use a generous amount of hot glue and make sure to really get that pipe cleaner in there by pushing it down with a toothpick. And once that's dry, I'll go back and hit it with another layer of hot glue because an opportunity to be extra should never be wasted. And with that done, it's time to move on to my favorite part. Are you ready? This grapevine wreath is definitely not a perfect circle, so it took me a while to decide just where I should attach the cross. But in the end, I found the perfect spot and threaded the pipe cleaners through the branches to secure it. That looks fantastic. Next, I'm gonna prep the flowers by cutting them free from each other. I'm leaving the stems long because I intend to tuck these flowers into the wreath base, which means the length will be very useful. My plan is to secure the bow at the bottom of the cross, but first I'm gonna start inserting these pretty Easter lilies into the wreath base, mixing the yellow and white, and then mirroring the other side as closely as possible. It's important to note that I chose not to glue my flowers onto the base. I was happy to just tuck them in. This gives me the flexibility of reusing this wreath base in the future if I want to, but feel free to add glue to your flower stems to make sure they don't go anywhere. Next, I'm going to clean up the back a bit and just cut off any of those lily stems that are really sticking out. I'm also going to cut off the excess of the pipe cleaners from our cross. Beauty! It's time to attach our bow in the perfect spot at the center of our wreath. But first, it's clear to me that this pipe cleaner isn't long enough to do much good, so I'm going to add a pipe cleaner to each side by twisting them together. Bueno, now they're long enough to be useful. I'm going to tuck that pipe cleaner into the base and give it a few good twists, and then it'll be time to fluff our bow and spread out the ribbon tails and really fluff out those ribbon loops. I don't know about you, but I have a bit of like a ribbon fluffing issue over here, and I don't want to talk about it, but also, oh my God, I love it. We've got one last step before it's time to hang this beauty up on the wall and see how it looks. We need to add some jute cord to hang it with. I used a zip tie to help with that. I attached the zip tie to the wreath and then threaded the jute cord through it. Much easier than trying to thread that floopy jute cord through the base itself. That would have been like crazy town. Okay, it's time. Wow, this just turned out even better than I had planned in my head. So what do you think? It came out beautiful, didn't it? I'm so thrilled with the end result. I've made a couple of grapevine wreaths in my past, but this is definitely by far my favorite. I love the way that this classic color palette blends together, and at the same time, it has that really subtle neutral look with a pop of yellow, a pop of white, and it's just so beautiful. The cross is such a statement, and it's something that I've never done on a wreath before. I just love the way this turned out. I think it's just so pretty, and not your typical candy color type of Easter wreaths that are like pink and purple and blue. This is really that neutral palette that is just subtle and elegant. I love it, and I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about wreath making, check out one of these videos. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo!